And EGIdra is actually sneaking in a base down here at the 6 o'clock, and SCB did in fact spot that. Oh, but Greg trying to actually snipe a tank, does take a big volley from that quick +2 upgrade on that Thor and on those siege tanks. Greg quickly approaching the supply cap. He is getting that hive. He has started those pathogen glands. He's continued to drone up. He might just get this other base set up and then go in for another big attack.
Now here's something very weird that we're seeing. DDE is literally not getting reactor add-ons. It looks like he's trying to conserve as much gas as possible for those factory units. But that does mean that he's unable to continue to produce big numbers of Marines, only 8 at a time. And it looks like there's the Mutalisk trying to dart forward, doing a lot of damage. There should be a Thor on the outer lip, but no, it looks like the Marines will be able to just repair that individually. A couple of Marines make their way down to the bottom side. What a stunning game we're seeing, JP. I mean, DDE putting up a magnificent performance, but we are seeing a new level of EGIdra. He is hardened. He is not leaving. I mean, look at the amazing position Greg finds himself in, just simply having not left the game and playing it out calmly.
EGIdra has indeed gone Super Saiyan. It looks like 5 Infestors about to pop. Those are going to do wonders against those huge Marine clumps of DDE. But look how many mutas EGIdra has. 2 full control groups going here into the main. A single missile turret is all that stands in his way. The Thors are nowhere to be seen. He's going to be able to take out so many of the production facilities here. He might even be able to catch this big army of DDE off guard right now.
Uh-oh, but again, the tanks are not sieged. The Thor is in the unit mix. He just needs one big cluster from EGIdra. And then he can do that massive damage. Marines down here at the south position, unable to do too much. A lot of barracks just finishing up for DDE, and again, not a single reactor was seen that day. Except for this one up at the north barracks. It gets taken down. A reactorless Terran. Will the Thor pop out in time to deal that essential volley? I mean, look at the unit counting station, 28 Mutalisks.
Jeez, that is so many Mutalisks. And the big thing to look at there is 7 Infestors. That is kind of the secret weapon right now of EGIdra. As soon as he actually feels like DDE is going to move out, he's going to be easily able to get a huge fungal on those Marines, unless DDE will be able to spread them out. But this, as a Terran player, has got to be one of the most annoying things to deal with. A huge flock of mutas just constantly hitting your unit producing structures. We see a Rax right now is actually about to burn down as it does explode there in the main base of DDE. If we go ahead and look at all of his Rax, he currently only has 6 total. Well, no, actually he's got quite a bit more there at his natural being added on. So he's not hurting too bad right now with the unit producing structures.
But the big concern for me is that DDE does not hotkey any of these barracks, so he has to click down here to build and then come back up here and click in the main to build. But this is a gigantic Terran force. The medevacs, oh no, are being left behind, and oh, a big fungal growth does land.
I love that Greg didn't go back for a second fungal there because he saw that siege tank actually get into position. Oh my god, there are so many Marines there, and they are balled up. It's going to be very important. There's another fungal.
He needs to begin sieging if he wants to advance far enough forward. He knows that the Broodlords are in production. Here they come. The Broodlords now raining down on that right side, and it looks like DDE is going to go for it. Oh no, the fungals ripping him apart. Can he pick off even a single one of these Broodlords? It looks like he is able to take down 2, but oh my goodness, EGIdra wrecking through this force with ease. The Broodlords are still alive, and it looks like, a little vulnerable. The weakest one in the back does get taken down. DDE is not giving up this fight yet. Wow, DDE manages to engage in direct fights with a Broodlord Mutalisk Zergling pack and come out alive at the other end.
Oh man.
But the Mutalisks are still the treachery force for EGIdra, picking off all the tanks and killing the Manx statue.
It's like,
in
you
an
want
act
some
of
statue?
rebellion.
I'm going to take you out too. Here are 4 more misrallied Marines. It looks like they will be taken out by these Lings or by these Mutas, whichever really want to actually do that. Going back, DDE does have quite a force. The high yield is actually all the way mined out, but Greg made the beginning of that fight look incredibly easy, only using his Broodlords and Infestors for quite some time, and then finally moving in with all of his Mutas and Lings. And again, I cannot stress how important it is that Greg is so active with these Mutalisks flying around the map, just constantly being an annoyance and a hinder to DDE's economy.
Finally, we see Vikings begin to get produced after ages of nothing. I mean, DDE absolutely hates reactors. He's getting a Ghost Academy now. We see a drop up at the north end. I don't think this is the best play. At this point in time, EGIdra has 2 mining bases, the top right and the top left, but the top left is a little bit low. It's going to be that central natural. No, no! Losing the Vikings. No ability to deal with the Broodlords from the sky.
And this is right now looking like it's going to be in favor of EGIdra. He's actually going to snipe that Ghost Academy. He does not want his Broodlords to be on the other side of those all-important snipes. Is not going to be able to finish it, though, as the Vikings and a handful of Marines will chase them off. But, uh-oh, Greg is coming back.
Oh, no!
He's going to finish off another Viking. That is not good to be losing those, because if we go back, there are... Wow, we both saw those Broodlords and got a little bit chills, Sean, because that is so many Broodlords for Greg right now at this stage in the game.
Super 8 is in fact not a movie by J.J. Abrams. It is going to be the death of DDE in the form of Broodlords, JP. They're moving through the center of the map right now, and it looks like DDE is going to go for a direct engagement. Oh no, the Infestors are way too far back. He may lose a couple of these very quickly. There goes down 1, 2. Oh no, a key misstep from EGIdra, losing almost all his Broodlords immediately. But is the ground force too big? It looks like, oh my goodness, EGIdra with the key misstep. DDE now storming forward. Oh my gosh, what a role reversal.
DDE about to, it looks like he's going to continue pushing. These 3 Thors are going to do a ton of damage, but does have quite a few Infestors here. But stemming forward, he does get 1 fungal growth off. It didn't do too much, but saved those Infestors. There's a Corruptor, but that is so many Vikings. He's going to need to get a big fungal here on a lot of those Vikings. But here goes Greg moving forward. A big fungal on the Marines in the back. The Thors are getting very, very close to dying, and they are going to fall. 1 Thor remaining, but the Lings are going to clean up the rest of those remaining ground forces.
Gosh. Another nail-biting end to the battle. I mean, if we look at the Army Supply tab, we see that both players have essentially nil, but those 44 Zerglings that popped out for EGIdra are going to be enough. They have the 3-0 upgrades. But keep in mind, DDE is almost at 3-1 himself. That's going to be very difficult for those Zerglings to even reach the Marines, considering they will dry up almost instantly.
We always talk about how many workers have been killed, but look at the units killed tab in this game.
Oh my gosh, this is
absurd. And the crazy part is that there are 485 units killed for a single player right now in the game. That is a lot of Banelings, a lot of Lings. And how is Greg going to try to seal the deal here? Well, he's making more Corruptors. He wants to use those Broodlords, but at the same time, this money mix of units from DDE, Marines, Thors, and tanks is going to be very, very strong. It looks like he's going to try and secure another base, but the Marines being caught off guard. No tanks in siege mode. May not seem like these Lings can do that much, but they just took out a huge squadron of Marines. They are going to have to fall back, as Greg is somewhat hurting for money right now. He needs to get these bases mining just a little bit longer and delay another attack from DDE, who still, like you said, does not have any of his buildings hotkeyed.
Yeah, not a single building was hotkeyed that night. We see DDE continuing to spend all his gas, churning out those additional Thors, and now that he has his bottom right running, excuse me, bottom left, look, it's just at the bottom, JP, it's in the middle.
6 on a clock. I mean, there's, look how many mules there are on that one space.
Gigantic amount of income for DDE, and if we go to the Units Lost tab, it's kind of impressive to see that EGIdra hanging in the game with almost 10,000 more stuff lost than his opponent DDE. Really impressing me with just this resilience to getting reactors. Now tech labbing it up. Looks like he wants to have the ghosts out. A lot of people love to use the snipe on those Broodlords, but I think it is the EMP that DDE is in the mood for.
The Super 8 is about to reform here, Sean, as 6 Broodlords are going to be moving on. 2 more morphing in. 5 Infestors down on the ground. A handful of Banelings being morphed in. And of course, those all-important Lings that are 0-3. They do not have the adrenal glands upgrade. It does not look, but but Ghosts are coming out. Snipe is going to do a lot of damage. Broodlords have started sieging this high yield, but all that remains is just a huge, huge field of missile turrets and a handful of supply depots.
It's just a husk of a base down there. We see DDE exploiting the mobility of those buildings and just heading down south where a couple drones might be his biggest opposition. There's the scan, and oh, where are the Ghosts? Gonna get in position. We see the Mobius reactor's not done yet. Does that mean that those Ghosts do not have enough to do those 2 EMPs? But I mean, if those EMPs blast down on those Infestors, that suddenly negates the air of superiority of EGIdra.
Here we go. We're about to see a huge confrontation. The Ghosts are actually in the front of the army, and that is exactly where DDE wants them. He's moving them forward. He does, in fact, see the infestors. The Vikings are going to lead
trying
the
to draw
charge.
the infestors. Oh, no! He needs to not have get the fungal growth on them, and there, he does get fungal.
Sean the EMP. He
and he
gets
gets
one
one.
infestor, gets another one. That is just so many corruptors, so many broodlords.
And we see the Marines from DDE getting awfully bold. The tanks have sieged, but the broodlords now leading the charge. Vikings still remain, but there are not that many in number, and the corruptor count is getting increasingly high from EGIdra. More broodlords being produced, and it looks like a huge drop from DDE heading towards the north position. A brilliant judgment call by DDE, realizing that Idra's army is out of position, but the tanks are unsieged, and they're not even attacking. Oh no, the tank was on a follow command, and it looks like Idra will be able to blast through and decimate the southern expansion. Where did the units from DDE go? The double drop going to the north, but Idra seems well defended.
At the same time, there is that drop going up, but there's also a high yield fort. Greg right now expanding to it in the midst of all this attack. 3 spine callers, maybe 4 spine callers will be there to defend against these Marines, but the upgrades are going to prove too strong, as well as those medevacs healing them. At the same time, there is only one base being mined from right now from DDE. It is a planetary fortress, but it doesn't matter much. We have a ton of broodlords raining down with corruptors there to back them up against those Vikings. Idra is just looking so well. You know, we mentioned probably about 20 minutes ago, Greg would have left in another life, but he has just proven that if he sticks in the game, stays with it, he can come back.
And mind-blowingly strong play from DDE. Every single other Zerg player would have folded, but Idra holding, taking all the bases. The south is not mining. There's literally only one building keeping DDE from being revealed, and there's the good game. An unbelievable game 1 between DDE and Idra. That is why I was so excited for this match.
That was a ton of fun. I think that game was about 37 minutes in total. We see Ed right there.
He's really angry he won that game.
He's probably incredibly excited about that, but he's actually the human robot. He doesn't show too much emotion. Rarely will you ever see him laugh, but that's just who he is. We see DD right there. He's actually the one that's smiling a little bit, but I mean, that was a great game from both players there. We're going to have to see how DDE is going to adjust. We're going to be moving on to our second match, which will be on Shakuras Plateau.